What's the weirdest sex dream you've ever had? My parents bought me a prostitute who looked like my neighbor and had looked at the Ark from Riders of the Lost Ark, and we sat in a bathtub looking angrily at each other, and she started to hump me. I was unable to move, and when I woke up I did not know what to make of it. This isn't a beach, this is a bathtub. Had a sex dream with Gordon Ramsay where he ate my ass and just said this is good food. I woke up crying. I woke up from a sex dream, only to find myself humping a cardboard box on the street. Fortunately that was a dream too. So, remember the hay cart they take up to the castle in Young Frankenstein? It's the cart Terry Garr rolls around in, singing roll, roll, roll in Zay hay. In middle school, I had my first ever sex dream. It was me and a girl from my school who, incidentally, I hadn't really had a crush on or anything like that, and we were boning away in the back of that cart. But that's not the weird part. The weird part is that the cart was part of a big parade down the main street of a small German town, with confetti and streamers and a crowd of happy peasants cheering us on. The cart we were in was followed by a large German polka band, each member being a short round man with a moustache and lederhosen, just parring along to my frantic pre-teen thrusts. It was a post-apocalyptic world which was actually quite bright and cheerful and happy, except that very few women had survived. And I had to run a weird obstacle course on a bright summer day that combined happy summer camp obstacles with jigsaw-style death traps in competition with hundreds of other men to prove I was worthy of banging the chick at the end. And I don't mean she was given as a prize, I mean after the bars and wall climb and beam run with swinging obstacles and death walkway of buzzing saws and invisible maze with killer robots and everything. She was just lying there on a raised platform I had to climb, and I had to bang her to completion as fast as I could to complete the course before anyone else caught up and, I dunno, did something bad, I guess. But it was really important. Dude, you might be the first person that remembers being a sperm cell. I got a job working in pornography. I thought the first shoot went really good. She seemed to enjoy herself and I did too. But when it came time to shoot another scene, they told me I would be more helpful working behind the camera. I woke up way more annoyed than I should have been. It started out as me doing it with a girl missionary style, but when I looked down I saw that instead of a penis I had a grey cylindrical nozzle, and instead of a vagina she had some sort of circular conveyor belt filled with balls of different colors. My nozzle dick was also shooting colored balls, and the sex we were having somehow morphed into a game of ball matching where I had to shoot my balls at her balls with the same color. I looked up and the girl was gone, and when I looked down again I saw that I was now playing pinball, and then I woke up. Dreamt an ex-girlfriend of mine was an airplane. I steered her via her boobs. But climbing, diving, and maintaining altitude were determined by thrust speed. So, basically imagine she is spread eagle, face up. A jet trail is coming out of her ass, and she has her arms spread like wings while I pound her to stay aloft. All my crushes were naked, on a hill, and had their exceptionally long dicks tied up in a knot. I had to individually help them untie their dicks, and when I did they came all over me. My brain does not want me to Emma Watson. Whenever I try to her in my dream, she just disappears entirely, leaving me humping the couch like a jerk. Now I think that Emma Watson herself keeps having dreams where she has to devise ingenious methods of keeping some creep from sticking his dick in her. I came into this girl and she started giving birth to hundreds of tiny fully grown naked adults. I kept picking up handfuls of these tiny people and trying to keep them all safe, but I kept accidentally squashing and killing them. My heavily pregnant ex-girlfriend, topless, giving me a blowjob. She was really good at those, but we never had any pregnancy scares in other experiences IRL. I didn't mind it. Buy a hooker. We have doggy-style sex. Something seems wrong. I pull out. Poop on my dick. Accidentally had butt sex. Try to put it in vagina. Find a dick. Turn over prostitute. It's a kid I hated in middle school. We start fighting. I wake up. So I was standing on top of a dam, like a big hydro dam. I was naked, and just an arm's length away from me was a naked girl, who had no face. I turned her around to hit it from the back, and she stood up and slapped me so hard I jumped in my bed and woke myself up. My first one that I can remember. There was a giant lady with 6 boobs. That elongated enough to catch me and drag me in. Sort of like tentacles. The boobs just held me to her and enveloped me. It was scary and awesome, and I was like 8 years old. I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going. I had a dream where my girlfriend had my dick, and I immediately gave her head. I felt pretty weird that whole morning afterwards. I f***ed Maya Rudolph in a Marshall's dressing room. I had never thought about her being hot before that, but to this day I think she is banging like a biscuit. This one's more of a wet dream. I was in a sort of pink-hued purgatory, lying flat out across the endless horizon, suspended inches off the ground by my penis. Then I inexplicably began to rotate like a spinning top. I was cage diving in some shark-infested waters, and then I got to f*** some sharks through the bars. Especially getting with this girl I was friends with at the time. But there's no holes, no vag, no ass. I tried just rubbing against it like it was platform 9 3/4. No effect. I licked her anyway and she seemed to enjoy it, so that's nice anyway. She ended up blowing me instead. I suspect this was because my brain just didn't know what sex is supposed to feel like and couldn't simulate that. Also, getting my dick sucked by this other girl I went to school with. But I blinked and next thing I knew I was balls deep in a human-sized maggot. Oh man, I want to say I was 11 or 12 before I knew what a vagina looked like. And I had my first sex dream, so when the pants came off, I guess my brain just filled in the gaps. I ended up seeing a computer port. I don't remember which one. It's been years. I just remember it was some sort of cable connector from the back of a desktop. Followed some girl into the bedroom or wherever, and Jon Stewart was naked in bed already. I paused for a moment and think, hey, it's Jon Stewart. Why not? I was walking down the beach and I started making out with a random girl. I then proceeded to have sex with said random girl. Fairly normal dream so far. Afterwards I walked over to a small pool of water in the sand where I started laying down in the shallow water. Only it wasn't water. It was a pool of Justin Bieber's semen. He was standing next to the pool like a fountain and just jerking off into this little pool. It didn't stop me from laying there and washing Bieber's semen all over my body. Note: I am a straight male. Also, this is a typical sex dream for me. Starts normal and then takes a foray into the what the f*** brain territory. I once dreamt that when I came it was just a single sperm the size of a tadpole. I pulled it out of her and bashed its head in on the headboard. Then we cuddled like it was normal. Okay, you asked for it. I banged a woman so hard her guts came out her mouth. And I didn't stop. It was awful and I felt sort of sick when I woke up. This the shit I scrolled for. I started outside, on a boat dock at night that went up like a hill on opposite sides. There were 5 or 6 separate areas along the dock I could venture to by just following the planks. The whole path must have been 5 or 10 miles around, maybe more. There was a house, some carnival-looking thing, but I went to the area that looked like a club. I got inside and found something close to a porn orgy, and it was more like a house party on the inside. Architecture-wise, people just like everywhere. I went through each room, trying to leave because I didn't know any of these people, even though I was getting hard for it and partially thinking about which lady I wanted to bone. I got to the back of the place, thinking I had made it out of there. That's where I was interrogated, because I hadn't anyone. I was up. Some bouncer guy was basically telling me to or get my ass kicked. Well, it was like a BDSM fantasy gone all wrong. These crippled and deformed, tiny midget types with no hair were in bondage swings, just getting the daylights railed out of them while they groaned whatever noises their twisted malformed faces could come up with. And they were small, even for midgets. I'm talking Vern Troyer sized. I was expected to lay some dick in one of these sex slave things. I was momentarily into it, until it came time. I vomited and ran out the door instead, shoving the bouncer out of my way. I was back on the dock, crying. I looked out at the various areas, realizing that each one was some sort of representation of the phases of life. Off to my right was the carnival, but it was really hell, or death. To my front across the water was a football field. It was my childhood. And like OT was no big deal and we knew each other or something. The Grim Reaper came to me and we just spoke about what I saw. I told him it was up, and he couldn't make me go into any of those places around the dock again. I saw a wooden boat. Like something from Peter Pan or Pirates of the Caribbean or Goonies or what have you. I wanted to get on it, but I didn't. He couldn't make me, and I just felt apprehension about what might be on it. The Reaper told me we all have choices. And then I woke up with an erection. That one kind of me up for a while. I literally a t-shirt. Like why the did I do that? I don't understand. It was lucid as well. What the why would I shag a t-shirt by choice? Since I was in a lucid dream I could have summoned up Gal Gadot or some shit, but no, I got a t-shirt. Why? Bill Murray was trying to give me a blowjob through a wall of ice between us. Every time he stuck his lips to the ice, it would melt more and more and get closer, which I didn't want. I woke up right before he got to the tip. It was terrifying. I was super flexible to the point where I could eat my own ass. Was it good food? Trish Straight is sitting naked in my garden and, after some hot French kissing, demanding I pleasure her clitoris with a high-pressure cleaner. Power washing porn.